Alright, here we go. This is round 2 between Giott and mrnoone1, and this time we are on Chasm. And we do have Giott in the upper left-hand corner as the classic Paladin, and the blue player in the bottom right-hand corner, mrnoone1, in the Black Ops Striker. Pretty standard openings here with moneymakers, pre-built moneymakers going down. You know, nowadays it takes so long to do an opening just because, especially on Chasm where there's so many sockets, and it's pretty much due to the fact that you cannot carry 2 moneymakers at the same time anymore. You can only carry 1 because they dramatically increase the carry weight of a moneymaker, and I guess that was to help with you know, with harass and all that stuff, but. Or not help with harass, just like make harass more effective, more possible, so you can actually kill moneymakers, and so it's not so viable to save them all the time. And Giott putting 2 flamers down, a little bit interesting to see because he's not putting them in the sockets, so that are in the bunkers, so that's a little bit interesting. Usually you do see them just directly bunkered, but both players going straight up with initial socket opening, so no one going for an early cheese. mrnoone actually dropping 2 jackals over here to distract Giott, eventually setting them on a command, which is really effective. I really would like to see more people do that, as you know, as much as they can. Use commands to your advantage. You know that these are going to move all the way across the map, and you know that extra time it takes for the enemy to respond will really help you. mrnoone dropping a jackal here, didn't go straight for the moneymaker. Might have been able to get it if he went straight for that attack instead of shooting that bunkered flamer, but now instead drops that jackal on once again on an attack command, and not able to actually snipe anything before Giott's able to come down and save it. So all that that was just all at mrnoone1's expense right there. However, Giott has not been able to resocket this moneymaker, and will mrnoone notice this? Oh yes, he is. He was able to get that moneymaker before Giott was able to come back and save it. And now he did finally get 1 moneymaker, neutralizes this outpost. So, and I think he did kill that 1 flamer that was down. Oh no, both of these flamers are still alive. I'm not really sure if they were completely bunkered or anything like that, or if he reinforced more. But this is definitely a positive gain for mrnoone for this harassment trip. But does go down to that Seeker following that tank, and Giott will be able to retake this outpost under his control. Not with enough creeps yet, so does have to drop his flamers. That flamer will go stray if he doesn't pick it up. mrnoone now coming back to the fight, did have Buster, a few support units, you know, Seekers and that Ratchet there, building that entire time that he was harassing. And a little bit ahead on the mid-fight against Giott. Now dropped just 2 creeps, but oh, really low on health. Very dangerous. Does he even have? Yes, he does have power sword / shield. Will he get taken down by Giott? Oh, those missiles coming in. Oh, and the shield was not able to save him. T99, that neutral T99, getting him killed there. But this Buster not actually in range of this T99, so mrnoone dropping all these units kind of in vain. Didn't really do too much. I mean, they're not getting killed or anything, but the entire time they could have been progressing toward you know, clearing his side of the neutrals on this middle on Chasm, and you know, on Chasm, such a pivotal point. It's very similar to the middle on Duel and Nesthorn and things like that, where a lot of people pretty much consider mid to be the entire game on these specific maps. Sort of the same thing on Sandrum, but not really the same thing on Sandrum. Sandrum, it's more of a, you know, to be honest, it's not as much of a battle for Duel, especially because usually it's taken within the first 30 seconds of the game. And mrnoone with a couple of creeps here might be able to get this neutralization. Maybe wanted to go for the moneymaker instead, because this neutralization won't really get him too far. I mean, the creeps, yes, will wander to this outpost instead. And Giott will be not generating credits for that entire time. He is able to get 1 moneymaker, and I guess because these sockets are not on, or these socket units are not on sockets themselves, they weren't able to get the heal. So mrnoone getting a little bit of extra damage in. Ordinarily, he wouldn't as much, I guess, if he was shooting a socket on a powered socket. And now Giott trying to reinforce his top a little bit more. mrnoone moving up even more, but this outpost has been taken by the green side, which is Giott's side, and Giott still has to rebuild those 2 moneymakers, really crucial, and has not actually even rebuilt this bottom moneymaker. Let's see if he notices that. He does take a look over here. Is he going to go for a quick drop? It does look like he will. Will mrnoone notice this in time? Does not come back. Okay, he does realize it on his minimap now, but Giott already has been able to drop it at that corner, but mrnoone dropping the body block, and in the meantime, Giott killing, well, just softening up these units down here. mrnoone does have a Sonya up, so that artillery that Giott has set up will not really do too much, and still not dealt with that. Oh, I think my headset just cut out there, but didn't have anything in queue to kill that Longhorn. Was forced to just stay there and kill it himself that entire time. It is kind of the luck of the draw, actually. You know, some people like to drop at least 1 or 2 tanks or something like that at their fort just for those kinds of occasions. You know, you don't really like to spend as much time, you know, and attention to take care of those drops. So, you know, maybe building 1 or 2 tanks would save you quite a lot of time, and typically it does, depending on the drop and, you know, what mech you are actually fighting against, how much they're able to drop and all that stuff. But quite a trench warfare fight we have here right now on this map, on this at this mid on Chasm. mrnoone with that Sonya up, no Sonya down for Giott, although, okay, now it does go down for Giott. Did have it in his loadout there, so did notice that he did not have it out. But a couple of Jackals now coming up from mrnoone will distract Giott for a little while. Let's see what mrnoone decides to do with this. Oh no, he's actually going for this outpost grab with his creeps. Let's see if he can actually do it. There's only Seekers defending over here. Giott is coming back, but he has not been able to. Let's see if he can kill some of these creeps. 1 does go down, so 3 will go up, and mrnoone does not. Oh, he did go down as well. I know those Seekers really hard to deal with, you know, especially if they're already stationed there. Both players are actually above their unit cap, 34 to 42, as opposed to their 30 to 40 unit cap difference here. And we'll go back up to 40 for Giott after that middle, or that bottom. The outpost gets back under his control eventually, but for now he is pretty much power blocked. I don't know if you can really call it that anymore because it's not the power system, but you know, he is upkeep block, I guess is the way you can put that. And Giott now has to deal with these Jackals. Once again, doesn't have anything here defending. Oh, mrnoone went down again. I don't know what he was trying to harass. Maybe he was trying to sword some of these units down here, but there was definitely quite a lot for him to deal with. Giott finally retaking this outpost under his control, gonna get those bunkers, but still needs to rebuild those money makers, and doesn't heal up his Seeker, so mrnoone might be able to get a kill on that Seeker if he chooses to do another harass. Giott taking a quick look at that mid, but mrnoone again doing another attack with some creeps, but pretty wise to not stay in that area. Oh, but does try to stay and kill a Moneymaker, does get it, and Giott not able to save that. Giott pretty behind in terms of the Moneymaker count. If these upkeep of these unit counts were working at the top in replays, I could tell you, but it looks like 13 Moneymakers are down on the field for mrnoone. That looks about right. That's about right for Chasm. 6 plus 4 plus 3, yes, that is 13 for the entire map, and Giott definitely needs to get his Moneymakers rebuilt, trying to do a little bit of softening up of those units over there, but mrnoone dropping some Jackals over here, and these 3 Moneymakers are still not rebuilt, and Giott still just trying to do some, you know, attack of his own, just dropping and hammering, but mrnoone getting him in that retreat because he took a lot of damage from those Seekers that were defending down there, and now mrnoone with even more Jackals might be able to get this outpost neutralized, as once again there is nothing but the outpost infantry and that bunkered creep to defend against here, and those Seekers are not going to be able to do the job. Now Giott does drop some tanks, but maybe a little bit of an overcommitment of defenses there, but mrnoone in the meantime will be able to move up a little bit closer, probably wants to put up a little bit more artillery, maybe flank their artillery a little bit. Puts a Buster and a Ratchet down. Might be able to do the job. Oh no, this one infantry went into the socket, so mrnoone's Buster got very, very distracted. And at this point, this is one of those trench warfare Chasm games that happens quite often. Neither player has cleared the bridge, so neither player has cleared either bridge, I guess is how you can put it, because it's, you know, on Chasm, it's not necessarily the top bridge is better for the green player and the bottom bridge is better for the blue player. There are definite pros and cons for using each bridge. I'm not really going to get into that right now, but you know, at this point, neither player even has that option, just because both bridges are still 100% blocked by those neutral units. And Giott taking a quick scout of that area back there, followed back by a lot of Seeker missiles. And a lot of them do get killed because they only have a range of so much. They can only follow so far. And mrnoone now with a tank. Oh, he's going with a fort drop, actually. And Giott, okay, Giott now comes back to respond to this. But once again, nothing defending over here. mrnoone will be able to just pick off Moneymakers and stuff left and right. As his Longhorn is firing in here, will be able to damage Giott, you know, for a pretty good amount of time. And that one Longhorn firing at the back, yes, will do a fair amount of damage, but, you know, it's just a lot of free damage now from mrnoone. This trip has paid off. Definitely has been able to kill, I guess, 2 Moneymakers here. and his tank does go down, but still here firing away. Might want to try to retreat here. Definitely would be able to do it against the Paladin, and Giott not even trying to chase him down. But once again, probably should rebuild his moneymakers. He still has not rebuilt his moneymakers at this bottom outpost. You know, all that harass is really, really worth it, especially if the opponent doesn't, you know, correctly rebuild the things that he should. mrnoone1 does notice now that that Giott kind of flashed over here on this side, so he does see that there were two semi-hidden Longhorn over there. Oh, and Giott needs to turn and burn here. No, does not actually do it. mrnoone1 does not chase him down, not level 7 quite yet, so he does not have any points into air-to-air rockets. Air-to-air rockets, missiles, I don't really know what to call them anymore. But mrnoone1 now with 2 hidden Longhorn down here, definitely not on Giott's minimap. And Giott almost getting finished off here, but does drop and land here for his enemy units, or for, by his friendly units actually. And mrnoone1 finishing off those Longhorn that were dropped for Giott when he was trying to do that harass. And now Giott with 4 flamers at the top probably will get this outpost neutralized, but will he be able to get it? mrnoone1 comes back here, gonna try to, oh no, he does not. So will Giott be able to do enough flamer spam to keep this outpost under his control? Might want to set them on capture. Yeah, he does, so he will be able to hold this outpost. mrnoone1 does not really have anything to respond to this, as he is now over his unit cap, 34 units out of 30, because that top factory was taken away. Giott pretty much giving that away so he can do more neutralization down here, but I don't know if that was really the correct decision. Holding that top would have been really, really good, but now the creeps will be able to retake that from mrnoone1. mrnoone1 way below power right now, just because he has that factory and that power station gone, and Giott with even more flamers now that will probably be able to survive. But mrnoone1 with another Longhorn here at the fort, absolutely nothing defending. That will be just firing until Giott decides to respond. Let's see how long it will be. Giott you will just see this health go down really, really fast, and Giott really does see that, oh man, that is going really, really fast at this point, and just a single Longhorn definitely doing the job, especially against the corner, that double damage area. And now Giott does drop a Longhorn to be able to take care of that. Does get that blocking, but mrnoone1 able to retake this bottom outpost. So all that I don't know how, if you can call it productive, but all that really effective harass did get him results. You know, with those flamer drops, flamer's really, really OP at this point. Did get him pretty far. Might have been able to hold those outposts if he decided to hold that top, but now does have 2 Longhorn here at the corner. mrnoone1 just able to body block, needs to drop some Longhorns to do extra damage, but in the meantime, Giott killing 2 moneymakers. Does have another one built, though. Will he? Okay, Giott doing pretty much textbook play, repositioning after the block goes down. And might want to drop it on opposite corners. Yes, now he does that. Finally, you kind of see that now more nowadays, because the weak point has changed to the corner. So it's you know, usually before you see them stacked at the front door, just bam, 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 everything right at the front door. But now we do typically see, you know, a corner drop here and a corner drop there. Just so it will be much, much harder for the opponent to not just to block, but to get your unit killed, because, you know, the even more unit micro has to go down. After those get dropped in opposite corners in different areas, so you can't just kind of let it go and let them get killed. I'm assuming Giott, okay, Giott definitely saw that Longhorn down there that mrnoone1 now just moved, but now just going with drops might actually be able to get quite a lot of damage here. Oh, but he does get really, really hurt in the meantime. You know, all those seeker missiles firing and landing at him. Firing at him when he landed, and mrnoone1's Longhorn actually set on capture will get killed before he can actually neutralize his outpost. Actually, all 4 infantry were still up in those slots, because those 2 Longhorn were there to defend. Really, really worth it to defend nowadays. AirMech is definitely changing. You definitely have to. I mean, it's not necessarily that play is. I was gonna say that it's been changed away from reactionary play, which is definitely not true. You can definitely still react properly. It's just now typically players tend to commit more units to defense nowadays, just because if you don't, then the penalties, the repercussions if you don't defend fully. And now mrnoone1 sending a full queue of Longhorn out, while Giott neutralizes this top outpost. Will probably definitely get this neutralized, but mrnoone1 once again with a Longhorn drop will probably draw Giott away from that area, and this Longhorn not in range of that other one that was dropped. And now mrnoone1 will be able to clear this bridge pretty fast. Giott definitely has to respond to this, and I don't think he has. I mean, he almost definitely has not detected that bottom bridge push. mrnoone1 not queuing up more units because they are once again both over their unit cap. Plenty of credits, not any unit cap to put down, and Mr. No1 does do an attack, so all these will go over the bridge as well. These Longhorn have not been spotted by Giott. Giott's just going for Longhorn drop. Oh man, this will be a base race, I'm assuming, because now Giott with some Longhorn over here at the corner. And I'm gonna try to taking down a moneymaker. I'm not really sure if that's the most productive thing to do. These 4 Longhorn. And I guess my headset just cut out again, but yes, now Mr. No1 with a pretty good defense over here, and at this point there's way too many units over here. I doubt Giott will be able to get this defended properly. What does he have? He just has 2 Longhorn. Yeah, those 2 Longhorn have been killed, but there's nothing left at Mr. No1's fort attacking, so this base race pretty much is over, as all of Mr. No1's units are finally making their way to this fort. If Giott can actually successfully defend this, will probably be GG, or not GG, but it will probably be really bad news for Mr. No1, as he pretty much has given up his mid control. So he really needs this finish, otherwise he will lose mid, and Giott will be able to take control of that and take control of pretty much the rest of the map. And Giott able to finish off the Longhorn coming here, and just one Buster and Mr. No1 himself here. No more attacking units over here for Giott, or for Mr. No1. But oh, Giott actually gets killed on the ground by that Buster, and Mr. No1 gets killed on the ground by the Longhorn. So what is it going to be now? Now Mr. No1 has lost everything here at mid. Not necessarily lost, but he doesn't have anything anymore. He used them all up in that bridge push, and Giott now just going straight for the finish, not going at all for the mid control, even though he pretty much has it. And Mr. No1 getting pretty good blockage down. Now Giott definitely saw these Longhorn moving out while he was flying over, and definitely going to be able to put down quite a lot of damage just throwing his hammer, because these Longhorn are pretty much all in a straight line. And the hammer will be able to do quite a lot of damage. Oh, but he misthrows the hammer there. And Mr. No1 now with another Longhorn that might actually be able to do it if Giott doesn't actually drop enough defense down. Mr. No1 now here at the corner with this Longhorn. That Longhorn just shooting at Mr. No1, and not that Longhorn. Giott now coming out here with 2 more Longhorn. Oh, this is going to be kind of a base race at this point. But Giott has quite a lot of damage left to go, and whereas Mr. No1, he has these 4 Longhorn coming up, but Giott has quite a lot of defenses over here. How is Giott doing over here? He has been killed, and I guess these Longhorn have been blocked. There is not much left here for Giott to defend. However, those Flamers doing a pretty good job. Giott really needs to just body block everything that Mr. No1, when he repositions, he just needs to body block. He needs to walk around and keep up with Mr. No1. At this point, Mr. No1 definitely has the advantage. He can just come up with it. He can pretty much do what Giott's been doing, and just dropping Longhorn and getting in that little bit of extra damage, because Giott doesn't really have too much life left. And now Mr. No1 grabbing another Longhorn. These are just level 4 creeps now, probably going to be able to take this bottom. Will Mr. No1 be able to get this finish? No, Giott is still here to body block. And does Giott have more coming out? No, he's at his unit cap. He's at 40 over 30. He has lost that power station at the bottom. However, he's still able to stay alive here, and no, that's a factory at the bottom, but now Mr. No1, I guess he's just doing the exact same thing, just sending over the bridge and just pushing, moving out, but Giott doing oh man, he is doing an interesting move here. He is dropping over the chasm. Oh, but Mr. No1 might be able to get this finished. No, he does go down. Will that Longhorn be able to finish this fort? No, he does get killed. So now Giott with a very sizable clump of units moving forward Mr. No1's fort. Giott really needs to get enough blockage off here at this at his fort. Mr. No1 now with another Longhorn. This will probably be it. Oh no, that'll be it. Oh god, these Longhorn are here, but that is game. Mr. No1 dropping that tank right there at the end, and this train actually was probably not going to be able to do it either. There were quite a lot of defenses sitting over here for Mr. No1, and that is it. Mr. No1 won. I can't even click there. Okay, and they do drop the GGWPs. Mr. No1 won, getting round 2 over Giott. Not me. Stupid replays. But yeah, guys, that was a great round 2. Mr. No1 up 2-0. I don't know if they're going to play any more rounds. Actually, this was, I guess, considered by Mr. No1 one of the better games, or the best game out of this session as well. They played like 4 or 5 games. And there you go. Mr. No1 takes this round as well. So, guys, if you have any replays to send in me, you know what to do. Click my video description. If you do not have replays set up, make sure to click my Send Me Replays link. so you can try to get that to happen. And Amana is now working. We are in February now, so that weird update glitch that was happening with Amana is gone. So if you boot it up, you will be able to see all the games you have spectated and played over the last however long. So guys, this is our UI, and that is game. See you next time.